Hi, and welcome to the New York Now podcast. New York Now is a modern wholesale trade show experience for retailers and specialty buyers who are looking for a rich, diverse range of new products and exciting new brands. Located in the heart of New York City, where the latest in design and fashion emerge, New York Now is not just a trade show. It's a community driving style, success, discovery, innovation, and collaborations.
Hello, everyone. Today, we'd like to welcome the amazing Robin Kramer of Red Boot Consulting to introduce this incredibly talented panel and lead in today's discussion. Robin is a brand marketing expert and leader in our retail and wholesale industry. She is also the co-founder of Flourish and Thrive Academy, an online business and educational platform for jewelry designers worldwide, and she's a longtime friend of New York Now. So without further ado, let us begin. Welcome, Robin.
Thank you, Trish. I am so excited to be here, and the panel is amazing. So our title for today and our topic is Pivoting to Prosper in Today's Challenging Retail Climate. And today is going to be about really looking at how you can adapt in what is happening. I know there are a lot of you out there who have already done some amazing things in a short amount of time. But today we're going to be exploring with the retailers and wholesalers we have online to what they're doing and how it's working for them. So in addition, pivot is a word that we're hearing all over. And so I wanted to explore a little bit more about other words that really should be part of our vocabulary. Opportunity, adapt, thrive, share, communicate, transform, embrace, expand, new frontier, learn, growth, hope, empower, and community. I am thrilled today to introduce to you all and welcome Chad Anglin and Amy Powell, owners of the lifestyle store Pigment. It is an amazing store. In fact, they have 3 stores. They're a husband and wife team, and they opened their first shop in 2007 and as an art gallery to showcase local artists. And Amy even had her own studio in the back, and customers could peer in from loft spaces. Art led in time to vignettes with sofas, side tables, eventually smaller gift items. With a heavy focus on the fundamentals of art and good design, thoughtful merchandising followed, and slowly but surely, the flagship store in the community of North Park outgrew the first location and eventually moved 2 doors down to their current 3,000 square foot space. So one store led to another with a location in Point Loma, and as of April 13, 2019, a third in the beach community of Del Mar. Today, their shops are recognized for their design-savvy gifts, flora, and furniture, and the New York Now 2020 Retailer of the Year Award. And their stores are innovative, engaging, and community-driven. We're so excited to have you here. Welcome, Amy and Chad.
Thanks, guys. Pleasure to be here.
We're thrilled to have you. We're going to dive into a little bit more about your beautiful stores. But I want to ask, in your 3 stores, I'm curious, how many employees do you have?
Before the shelter in place, we had 50. We have a dozen on payroll right now. After our governor put in shelter in place, we had to furlough 38 of our employees.
Initially, it was all but one.
Yeah, it was all but one.
So we slowly brought a few people back as there was work.
Well, and I think that's such a good point, is that, moving forward, I know you all have done a really amazing job of continuing your business. So I'm going to introduce the other 2 panelists, and we're going to come back because I have lots of questions for you.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
And you all can see how, well, first of all, Amy and Chad are adorable, and they also have 2 kids. So in addition to the 3 stores, they're very busy. The store, as you can see, is very warm and inviting, and it looks like a place you just want to go and hang out and have fun. And I know with everyone right now hunkered down at home, there are a lot of people that are bringing plants and getting out in their gardens. And I know that that's something that Amy and Chad will be chatting with us a little bit about. But I want to bring on our next panelist, Joe Porcari. Welcome, Joe.
Thanks, Robin. It's great to be here.
So excited to have you here, Joe. Joe and I have known each other almost 20 years. Kind of crazy. We have known each other because of New York Now. I would see Joe at the show, and when I was working for two of the past companies I've worked for, and he would buy products because we were American-made products. So a little bit about the Artful Hand Gallery, which is Joe's gallery. Guided by an appreciation of innovative, impeccable craftsmanship, Joe brings curated eye to the ever-evolving collection of fine gifts, crafts, and objects for the home. This is amazing. Joe has been in business for 39 years. He opened in 1981 in Boston and moved to the Chatham, Cape Cod area in 2016. He didn't know I discovered this, but he is also a contributor to the Chatham Living magazine. So he is a Renaissance man for sure, and he's very involved in the community. So as you see here, it's a beautiful store, and the fact that he's been in business for such a long time and weathered so much. So Joe, I'm thrilled to have you here. I know you have these really close relationships with your vendors, and I'm excited to hear how you're working with your vendors during this time. I also know that you tend to be busier in the summers because you're of the location of where you are. You did mention to me that you are seeing more people down at the Cape right now. Is that correct?
Yes, it's true. I mean, a lot of our second home owners from the Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C. metro areas are here, but they're pretty much hunkered down. You see them walking their dogs, taking solitary walks. Nothing is open in town, so there really is no way to actually really measure that, but they're around for sure. We'd love to have them in our stores and restaurants, but I don't know when that's going to happen. That's the big question for everybody.
Absolutely. I think it's on everyone's mind for sure. Well, I have a lot of questions for you as well. So we're going to bring on Alyssa Kuchta, who is going to be joining us next on the panel. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi, Robin. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
We're thrilled to have you here. Alyssa, actually, she is the founder and designer of Follow Your Bliss Jewelry. And Follow Your Bliss focuses on the mission to empower women and foster a positive female community through mentorship, resume building, and networking. And the line is currently sold in over 300 stores nationwide and has an ambassador program across the country. Alyssa herself has mentored over 400 college women through her program, and it was awarded in 2017 as the Horn Program of Entrepreneurship's most promising venture. Follow Your Bliss has been featured in the Huntington Post, 17 Magazine, ABC 7 News, among others, and was a sponsor of the 2018 Glamour Women of the Year Summit. Giving young women a platform to embrace their leadership potential, make a difference, and strengthen their confidence in themselves is what fuels Alyssa's passion the most. And I'm so excited to have you here, Alyssa, because you're relatively new to the scene. You've been in business a while, but in 2016 you started wholesale. You're located in Brooklyn. You are working with so many stores, and you yourself were getting ready to open a storefront, a retail space in March. So you've had to totally just pivot your own business from opening that. And I'm excited to hear a little bit more about that and learn what you did, and not only what you did for yourself, but what you're doing for the retail stores that you work with.
Totally. I'm so excited to share.
All right. Well, let's dive in. So thank you, panelists, for being here. So there's a quote that I just found today because I think it's so important and really is what we're all about right now. And it's from Marie Forleo. And it is, as business owners, this is our chance to step up and become more caring, more generous, and more creative. We have enormous opportunity to create hope from our collective hurt. I thought that was so appropriate for today. And we're going to start by, we've been in this place for about a month and want to know a little bit more about each of our panelists, their business and what they've done these past 4 weeks since the stay-at-home mandate. So why don't we start with Amy and Chad? If you all can kind of give us an idea in the last 4 weeks, what has kind of transgressed and happened with the 3 stores you have and how you've handled it.
Well, I wish I could say it was glamorous, but it hasn't been glamorous. I mean, it went from 3 stores in a matter of days to hours, really, to 0 stores. As soon as our governor, like Chad said, gave the announcement for shelter in place, all 3 stores went silent. At which point we experienced some of the biggest anguish of our lives. Then during that despair and not knowing what was going to happen, all of a sudden we started to see an uptick in our website. And of course, like every business owner right now, any revenue stream, is also hope that we might be able to pay our bills, pay our rent, pay our employees. And so, of course, we jumped to responding to that. And the uptick was, in time, over a few days, really significant. So much so that, I mean, Chad and I were working for every day since, what was it, April 13th? March 13th?
March 15th, I think.
I think March 15th is when our shelter in place was put into effect. And since that day, we have worked every single day, 10 and 12-hour days, including Easter, to try to satisfy orders, initially with just one employee, the one gal who manages our website, and then eventually, slowly but safely, there's a limit to like what we need right now to respond to that demand is more than what we can safely and legally do. We can't have a team of 20 people responding to internet orders, even though that's really what we could use. We have been working as hard as we've ever worked in our lives and managing that stress. It's like I said, it's cutting both ways. On the one hand, we're excited and we see the opportunity for, is there any chance this will continue in the future? Could our website rival our stores, which for us has never been a thing. Our website has always been secondary. It's always been complementary. But now that it's singular and the 3 stores are dark, it became really clear that our opportunity to engage with our customer in a new way via both, I should add social media and the website, they were working in conjunction, that all of a sudden we could give it our undivided attention just because of the circumstances that are in play. In a normal world, we would be managing 3 stores. I'm an artist. I'm a teacher. I just finished a Zoom class, about art history and color theory seconds before we jumped on this call. There would never be a context for us to focus exclusively on our website. So in a way, it's been both dark, but also this opportunity that presented itself in a way that could have only happened under these circumstances. And now we're behind on orders. We have customers that are going, hey guys, it's been 10 days. It's been, where's my order? And we're struggling to field the email, the social media outreach, of people who maybe aren't as familiar with our store and don't know that we're not, Amazon. We're like a small group of people, even though, I know 50 employees probably sounds like a lot, but when it comes to 3 stores, each store is a pretty intimate group of people. And certainly right now there's only 10 of us working. So anyway, that's that was too long-winded for y'all.
I feel like we've worked more like last month than we did when we opened up our store.
It's very similar to the very beginning of our store. Yeah.
You said some things that really were just made me really resonated with me, and you're engaging in a new way. And I absolutely believe that in the hardest of circumstances come the most brilliant ideas and newfound ways of doing things. And congratulations. I always love those luxury problems where you do have the business, and I'm excited for you all. And it's also showing that people are shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like where normally they walk through the front door, it's almost like, oh, they're still there. They're just through the window now. Or, we just got to open the window to let them in. They're still knocking. It's just they're coming in a different entrance, which is hard, very hard for us because we're not an online store. We don't have the infrastructure, everything from think of like boxes, tape, the supplies to ship things, even like when I'm fielding customer frustration right now, I'm having to explain to them, we're 3 stores and the inventory you're buying is at a store that's 30 minutes or, they're not that far apart, but 20 minutes away. I have to go drive to get it. I don't have it on a shelf at my disposal, or it's just at 3 locations. It's been a thing, but like you said, we're so grateful that it's almost like the customer didn't go away. We just had to find them in the new location, or a new channel.
The best part about it is when we were able to bring back some of our team, and even though you can't work right next to them, you have to be 6 feet apart. Just having them there is so much better mentally and spiritually, I guess you could say. Really like a rekindling. It's exciting to have them back, and we have a great team, and it was the hardest thing we had to do when we did end up having to furlough them. Yeah. So
not knowing if it was forever, not knowing if the store goes away, all of that. Yeah.
Well, and the reassuring thing is that you've got your customer base, they're coming back, they will be back for sure. And the fact that you're also, for those of you who don't know about Pigment, Amy teaches, as she said, but there's also, they have event space, they do workshops, they're very community driven. And it's wonderful that your community has found you online. But also I've noticed that you had 105,000 followers on Instagram. And curious, have you guys seen this increase since the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, like 25,000 followers in a few. Yeah, so crazy. Yes, yeah, like all of a sudden.
And not just
more.
We have a strong marketing program going on right now too to push traffic to the website, and that's where some of the uptick has come. Because we didn't have any outlet for sales, so we did push in that direction, and we talked to our online marketing team and really kind of geared up for it to try to bring in some revenue, because we do sell plants, and plants just can't sit on the floor and not be watered or taken care of, because you'll lose the inventory.
And the insurance companies, they told us right up front that they were going to deny our claim. They wouldn't replace a plant if it died. The nightmare of this whole situation, but the insurance companies have certainly added to the immediacy and the need to sell the plants. We have 3 stores that are stocked chock full with plants. So we're depleting that inventory, which is good. That means no one has to go care for them. They're not going to die in a store, that no one's frequenting. So anyway.
At the beginning, Amy and myself would go take care of the plants, and we'd spend literally 8 hours at each store every other day, or every
just trying to save them,
to keep them alive, because we had a team of people that was their job to do. It was our green team that they took care of our plants.
Yeah.
So
hearing what you all have done, and just the hopefulness, and also the excitement of the new type of engagement and the shifting that you've done, it's wonderful to hear. And I'm excited to talk with you all about what's next for you. I wanted to ask Joe the same question about being in business, for 39 years. What have you done in the last month that may be something different or new?
Sure. Well, it's working on the website has really been number one priority. We've been editing and adding products to it. We have actually seen an uptick in internet sales along the lines of what Amy was saying, not to that degree, but for us, it's a bit more of a learning curve. I'm really impressed and inspired by what a lot of the younger and newer retailers are doing, like Pigment. We have a number of them in our local area, and I'm always interested in seeing the various techniques they're using in engaging with their customers in the community. We're exploring a lot of different things, like selling through Instagram, playing with Facebook and Google ads, working with vendors who dropship as a way of enhancing our inventory at hand, exploring joint promotions with key vendors, partnerships with local businesses. I'm looking into virtual appointments with customers, wanting to do more Instagram stories, perhaps create a blog that would tie in with my writing background to kind of make it a Cape lifestyle and do some artist profiles. And we really just overall want to grow our subscribers to our website and Instagram followers. I'm really impressed by what Pigment has achieved in such a short time. And that's an example of the kind of great stuff that the younger retailers are achieving. And it's really inspiring to see that.
That's great. You've listed out a bunch of things that you're getting ready to do. Are there certain things that you've already initiated?
Well, I mean, primarily my focus has been on the website. I really wanted to add more product, and we are getting some good sales. And I would say that we approximated a good share of our usual revenue for March and the first part of April. Encouraging. Not the way we expected to do business, but in a snap, it really has been a great kind of fallback to what we might have expected had we not had this.
That's so wonderful to hear, and it just drives in, to both Amy and Chad, and to your point, it's that people are still buying, and there are still, people have special occasions. There's still anniversaries, and there are still weddings. They're a little different than what they would be normally, but they're still happening. There's still birthdays. There's still graduations, and
right.
People, want to support the small businesses, and I'm seeing that more and more. So it's wonderful to hear that it's working for you. Thank you, and I'm looking forward. We're going to be talking more about these particular partnerships and really partnering with your vendors, but also what you can do. I love that you said you're selling on Instagram. That Instagram Live has become very popular. And I'm excited to talk to Alyssa because being very new in the industry, but coming from a very big kind of social media background of just diving in there, I'm excited for you all to hear what she's been up to. So thank you, Joe.
Sure.
We'll come back to you. Okay, what's going on, Alyssa?
Yeah,
what have you done last month?
Oh gosh, well, it's been a crazy ride. So we had just finished up show season, and being on the vendor side, for me, I immediately shifted my mindset to a place of how can I help and support our retailers right now. So 80% of our business is wholesale. My first few years in business were definitely more focused on, pop-ups and our website. But in 2016, when I made that shift to wholesale, that's where I really started to see our numbers grow and realize my passion in growing the brand through small businesses. So again, my heart immediately went out to our brick and mortar stores, many of whom don't have their social media or e-commerce sites set up efficiently. So I jumped right into creating a list of resources and ideas for them to implement, from ways they can boost their sales creatively to ways to engage with their customers online. And this is something that a lot of them, it's out of their comfort zones or they're not used to doing, but also ideas for customer service, kind of everything that you guys had mentioned, just kind of compiling it all together, but also links to other helpful resources to launch an e-commerce shop, even links to purchase product photography equipment. And I recently partnered with my friend Alissa, who's the founder of We Are Women Owned, to share this on her blog, which has a huge following of other women-owned businesses. And the positive feedback on this was just amazing. So really rewarding to be able to kind of provide that. And then also putting together a Dropbox of images for them that they can use for their social and their website platforms, and also changing our terms. So offering free shipping, offering drop shipping directly to their customers, and then, getting rid of our order minimums. So they can order as much or as little as they need. And with our brand, we're very much gifty, and Mother's Day and graduation are really big holidays for us. So kind of offering that to our stores if they need to reorder for gifts. There's no order minimum and we can drop ship. So for me, it's really been the question of how can I best help and support our retailer community right now? That's been my biggest thing.
I love the support that you're giving. And we have this information a little bit further in the slide presentation, is that New York Now is doing some great resources for attendees. So I want to make sure that you all know about that. But also, Alyssa brings up a really good point. And so did Joe, is that, working with your vendors, and there's so much there, being able to showcase their work, being able to partner with one another.
Absolutely. I mean, I have a list that's a mile long. I have so many good relationships with our vendors, and only begun to really tap the list, and I'm getting great response from everybody I reach out to.
With two of our stores, I actually went on and hosted an Instagram Live with them. So one of them, Three Little Birds Boutique, she recorded it and then posted it to her IGTV so customers can continue to watch it. And I shared about my story, what inspires the designs, and kind of talked through our favorite pieces. And she saw a spike in sales after. So that was like amazing feedback. And I think a lot of stores could partner with their vendors on things like that just to create content and get their customers excited about the lines they carry. I think it's a really unique time to be able to have the time to do content like that.
I know one of the big questions is that like just marketing. And why don't we go on? So I want to just make sure that these are questions that I want everybody to be asking themselves. How are you connecting with your customers? How are you standing out? How are new customers finding you? What are you doing the same? And what are you doing differently? And what are you excited about? So in this changing environment, these are really good questions to ask yourself. And I want to move along to taking action now. There have been a lot of things that have come up of, doing Instagram Live and maybe working with your vendor to drop ship or doing curbside pickup, things that you can be doing. But what have you specifically taken action on today? Why don't we say we've gone through the 4 weeks today and this week, are there certain things that you're doing that you weren't doing that you maybe learned from or that you're trying today that you haven't yet done? And Alyssa, I'm going to go with you first.
Yes, for sure. So in addition to supporting our retailer community as much as we can, we've also really leaned into our online community. And two things that we've done that I think brick and mortar stores can also implement are coming up with creative things that are brandable. So for us, we launched an IG Live series called Heart to Heart, where each week we bring on different women to talk about different topics. So we did one last week with Katie Morton, who was a previous contestant on The Bachelor, to talk about love and dating. And we're doing one this week with former Miss Canada, Alice Pinikian, who's going to talk about clean beauty. So I think in terms of your content and also inspiring people to really follow you and again, be top of mind for when they're ready to make a purchase, it's adding value in new ways and offering content to your community that's not just focused on sales, which will then turn into sales because they're following you for other reasons. So the Heart to Heart series for us has been really popular, and it's been really rewarding to see our followers kind of write in and submit their questions and say that it helped them. So I think that's one way. It's really thinking about how can I add heart and soul to my social content and connect with my followers in unique ways. Also, I've been seeing a lot of people sharing things like recipes they're making with their families or DIY projects they're doing with their kids at home. I think there's so many ways to kind of connect on that personal level with social media. I think that's one really fantastic way to add value, connect, and again, put heart and soul into what you're doing. And the second thing that we did immediately was partner with City Meals on Wheels for a give back collection. So we donated a percentage of proceeds from all of our online orders and now launched an exclusive New York City bracelet collection that we're also continuing to support them by giving back a percentage of proceeds. So I think, and that not only rallies our community to support our small business, but also rallies and empowers them to make a difference in causes that are, taking action right now for COVID-19 efforts. So I think those are two ways, kind of taking Instagram Live, getting personal, and then also, if you can, think of ways to implement a give back, whether it's a percentage of sales or a 1-for-1, or even hosting a drive to collect masks or other essentials that healthcare workers need. I think there's so many ways you can kind of stand out from your competitors or just in general by doing things like that show that you really care and make it personal.
That's great. That's wonderful. And I love that you're bringing on somebody who doesn't have anything to do with jewelry, but who is relatable to your audience of who your customer is interested in seeing. I'm curious, Amy and Chad, what are you doing now that you may not have done the last 4 weeks that's really exciting to you?
I mean, similar to what Alyssa said, the ideas that we have that we're going to execute on but haven't actually come to fruition yet are really, just as she was saying, she's supporting the brick and mortars. Our job as a brick and mortar is to show people the umbrella that is Pigment. The umbrella, we're just an umbrella for many, many small vendors. And I've had so many people knock on our door asking, hey, will you put our stuff on your website? We carry them in store, but we don't have them on the website. And it's their only channel for sales right now. Or like local gals who normally make their money at the farmer's market who don't have a farmer's market. We too are adding more products for vendors that are traditionally in store but haven't been featured online. where similarly to what Alyssa described, we have a video program, an initiative in the works where we want to feature our smaller vendors where they show who they are. I mean, historically, I was afraid to show our vendors. I've had so many experiences. I'm sure a lot of brick and mortars can relate to this, where customer will go direct to the source and all of a sudden they're not shopping in your store. They're buying directly from the vendor with the idea that they might get a better price or that kind of thing. In my youth, I was more protectionist in that way, but especially in this moment, it couldn't underscore the need to just show that they're real people, that they are not, made in China. They are handmade in their house with their kids and their cat and their whatever. They have a day job. This is a side hustle or this is a passion project. So we're starting videos too, where we're asking them a few fundamental questions, and in a short, we want it to be bite-sized so that it can be on social media. It can be the click of a button on our website where you can see the product, but also the real people behind the product, and know that when you shop with us, you're shopping with all of these smaller vendors. So we have a similar program in the works. I think if we hadn't been so busy, because we're also learning to be an online store. So if we weren't working 10 and 12-hour days trying to box things up, that may have come more quickly. Certainly those ideas were part of the beginning of this madness, and now they're just waiting.
We do have someone that's just now full-time communicating with
100% social media.
Our clientele, our supporters on social media, which we've always we've done it in the past, but it wasn't like your job is just to talk to them. Now we have someone that your job is just to communicate with people. We need to answer questions when they come up, but we weren't on it 24 hours a day, and now it's.
Even when we started this, we thought, just a couple hours here and there. You let us know how long it took, and it's just become a full-time job, just communicating with people on social media.
The Instagram followers, we've done a lot of Facebook advertising in the last couple of weeks. Instagram.
Yeah, some of it. Chad's just responding to that question about how we got more Instagram followers. I think some of it was the paid Facebook advertising, and then from that to whatever degree it's organic. It was a surprise to us. Even with the paid advertising, no one expects it to translate directly to such a spike. And I think it's the Facebook coupled with a whole bunch of people at home on their computers.
Yeah,
it's just. Well, we were shocked too.
Yeah, we never expected it to go.
No.
And I would have to say that because of algorithms and things that are always changing on Instagram and Facebook, it doesn't always correlate to having massive sales when you have a really large following. But it can result. I mean, it's validation. There's other things that come with it. So it's not to say that's just having followers makes the sales, but what you're saying as far as your marketing, by investing in Facebook ads, by also you all are engaging, you're posting on a regular basis and you're doing outreach to your list, like you're staying relevant, which is really important because we're getting a lot of questions of like, how are you doing this? Who have you hired to do your marketing? What's going on? There's no magic pill. It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like even before we had this surge in followers, I feel like, okay, we had 80,000 followers before this, which is a significant amount, but our web sales were never what they are today when we
no way. We were doing all these things in advance of this moment. It took these circumstances and everyone retreating indoors and to their computers to see the spike. We were the same variables were at play without the reward of followship or sales before this. But as we saw an uptick, we invested more. So where we saw a correlation to our dollars spent, we, like any investment, like any, I buy 5 rings, I sell the 5 rings, I buy 6 more, 7 more, and then I sell 9. I guess what? I buy 10 next time. It's the same. There's a direct correlation between the response and our additional investment. And we weren't, because we're not just throwing money away willy-nilly. We don't have any money. We are worried about our personal assurances on every store. And I mean, it's a super scary time. Money is spent as a direct correlation to a secure sale at this point.
Yeah, we've never been more wiser with the knowledge than right this second.
No, yeah.
So
there wasn't it sounds like we took a risk, but we waited to see the response. It's only as we saw response that we spent any additional money.
Thank you. I think that's really important.
A question that came up real quick, Robin, with the unemployment. Yeah, we furloughed our employees so they could go collect unemployment. And then when we brought them back, we started running into this situation with the CARES Act and the $600 payment.
Do you guys, we're assuming you see the question. It asks, how did we bring them back? And, did it disrupt unemployment?
And it's something that we are managing. And what we did is we brought back most of our higher paid salaried employees that have been with us the longest, and we did something.
I'm going to cut to the chase and just say that what Chad's tiptoeing around is that it's been a total nightmare. When we brought our employees back, we encountered immediately the issue of the $600 stimulus check. Our employees, most of them, do not want to work because they will be paid more on unemployment than they would be paid in their position. And so really it's only our higher paid team that can return at a restricted wage. So our salaried employees are coming back at a restricted wage of $16 an hour, which, they're not approaching their normal paycheck. And so they're still eligible for unemployment, which makes them happy because they can still get that $600 paycheck. But it's been quite the crisis for Chad and I, because we need the support, but we can't get people to work. It's a super weird set of circumstances and one that we're navigating every day. But we see people asking that, as I'm sure they're being met with the same thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
They want to keep their,
I also wanted to know, there are some vendors who can't send product out to their stores that they're working with. How are you dealing with replenishment of products that you are selling, and are they able to get you replenishment?
It's case by case. I'll give you just a couple of examples. Veluspa is one of our top selling candles, but they went dark during all of this. And so while we have this featured on our website, and we know Tracy, the owner there personally, I've done some artwork collaboration stuff with her. She's not shipping, and there's no way we're getting it. So there are some people we can't get anything from, nor are they interested in sending anything. Then I would say that the bigger component are people who we're selling through, and then where we can't get more, they're willing to drop ship, just as the other panelists have said. I think Alyssa said the same thing, drop shipping for us. And I have a few people where I've run out of product, but I've just made it available, where for us, it sells into the negative, giving us negative inventory because it's sold beyond what we have. But I know I can drop ship, or replenishment is on the way. Everyone seems to be either operating at just slightly slower speeds, or they're willing to drop ship to make the connection a little quicker. It's just the only trouble with dropship is the cost, the burden of shipping. Sending 2 shipments when you could have sent 1, someone has to pay for that. And unfortunately, usually with the dropship program, it's the brick and mortar that does that. So it's not as efficient, financially speaking, to do that, but at least it's a sale. And at least even if we lost money on it, I'm looking at a long-term arc of retaining a customer, retaining the vendor relationship, keeping them alive. So even though not every sale is as profitable, the big picture is protected.
I think it's a really great point. And I think it's all, people are asking, how do you do this? I think it's very much having good communication with your vendors and good communication with your customers, and just letting, making sure your vendor is supported, and that you can, if they're going to do drop ship for you, what does that look like? Are you going to send them any artwork? Or how is it going to be packaged? Like, all of those things are part of a conversation to have with them. But I think it's a wonderful option to do. I know, Alyssa, you said you've been doing some dropship for some of your accounts.
Yes, especially too, because we have a Zodiac collection. So sometimes stores will run out of certain signs. And, I've always done that either way. Sometimes if there's just a couple signs they need, we're pretty flexible with reorders, especially now. And again, I mentioned like Mother's Day and graduation are big holidays for us. So I think for us to be able to offer that for gifting purposes will be great. But yeah, I'm happy to do that because I think it's also helpful to get it faster than having to ship to the store, then the store has to ship it out. Especially in times like right now where it's a lot of gifting happening, it's great to be able to offer that option for expedited shipping. And we're actually offering free shipping on all orders. So if vendors can afford to do it, I think it's a really nice sentiment for their brick and mortar stores to help them with the cost.
Yeah. And for the vendors too. Absolutely. Mother's Day is around the corner. And what I'm hearing a lot from families is that the moms are being super appreciated right now. So this is a great reminder too that Mother's Day is around the corner for everyone. I want to just go over a few things of what you can do now. So on this slide, you'll see you can email your customer list. Definitely stay in touch with your customers. Be active on social media. Somebody I was talking to said, don't post and ghost. If you're going to post, hang around for a little bit because people are online and they want to engage. And if they have questions about what you're posting, you want to be there for them. So hang out a little bit and answer and make sure you're answering any of the DMs you get, any of the comments. Host a Zoom event. We've talked a little bit about that. Collaborate with other businesses. You don't have to collaborate with, let's say if you work in furniture and it doesn't have to be a furniture company or a pillow company that you collaborate with. It could be a chef that everyone's cooking at home now. So maybe you do something where you bring a chef in, or what Alyssa did where she brought a love expert on, or somebody that can speak to your customers. And it's certainly somebody your dream client would love to hear from, but it's not necessarily what you would normally do. So it's bringing some new eyes and ears to your information. Having a virtual tour of your store is always a great thing to do. People want to see, it becomes more real when they see your store. Snail mail love. Alyssa and I were talking about that earlier, how when you send something in the mail, right now, everyone's home. They're going to read it. They're going to see it. So that's always a great thing to do. If it's a thank you for being a great customer, or here's what's going on, or even a postcard is a really nice gesture. Postagram is an app that you can actually go on there. You can choose a picture, you can send it. They'll do everything for you. You don't have to touch anything, and it'll get sent to your recipient. Also, help your neighbors. Just being friendly to all of those around you will come back to you tenfold. Giving back to different nonprofits or organizations that are near and dear to you or near and dear to your customers. Offering curbside pickup if you can. Updating your website like Joe's doing, taking inventory. This is a great time to take inventory. And like Amy and Chad are doing, they know that their plants need to go because they don't want them to die. So really knowing what you have in your inventory so you can move it. And collaborating with your vendors, have a meet the maker on a Zoom. Get creative in how you're introducing your makers, or doing a video like Amy and Chad were talking about, and really highlighting them. This is a great time to do a survey. Ask your customers, how are you doing? What do they want to see more of? Learn about them. Are they single? Do they have kids? What part of the country are they living in? This is an awesome opportunity to get to know them better. As we said, there's Mother's Day is coming up, but also graduation and, other holidays are coming up, or people's birthdays are happening. So there are a lot of things. Offer the one-to-one shopping. You can actually have shopping appointments with your customers. You can host an expert or a designer or a stylist, or as I said, even a chef, depending on and for Chad and Amy, maybe it's somebody who can style plants. So what to do next? Now that you've it's been a month, you see kind of what's working, you know what you want to do now, today, but next few weeks and months, what is kind of on your radar?
First of all, we don't really know what level of reopening of the economy will be in the cards the next few weeks. I think we just have to kind of take it as it comes, but I could hope and envision maybe when the stores are reopened, that probably masks will still be in order, hand sanitizer, all of that stuff, and maybe even limiting the number of people in the store at any given point. It won't be business as usual, but it will hopefully be some approximation of what we used to have. But it's really out of our control at this point. We can only pay attention to the news as it unfolds, and in the meantime, try to stay healthy, try to keep our loved ones healthy, and our staff, to the extent that we still have staff working for us in any capacity. We just have to kind of go with the flow and hopefully be ready for it when it happens.
I couldn't agree more that, keeping really abreast of what's going on. And also, one of the things that just came to mind when you were talking about that is that you want to ensure the safety of your customers too, the health of your employees and your customers. So when you do open back up, how is that going to translate? Like, what can you do for them so they can feel really safe in your store as well? So, reassuring them, as you said, maybe it's having masks available or having hand sanitizer as you walk in, those things. And those are great questions to ask, a part of the survey when we open back up. What would you like to see? We take every precaution here. So that's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Amy and Chad, with your stores and you all do events and workshops, what are you looking for in the next few weeks and months?
I think like Joe said, adding the major caveat that we're not sure what the landscape will look like. I think we're prepared to adapt, and remain ready to modify as necessary. If I had my ideal world, then the plate that we're struggling so hard to spin right now, the website would continue strong, and at least in the months to come, we would continue a strong web presence. Whereas I'm wondering, will the brick and mortar stores, will they suffer after this? Maybe as Joe described, like maybe there's not I don't expect a quick bounce back. I'm worried about fourth quarter and what that means for our sales. We know our fourth quarter protects the store for the following year. If it's slow, then hopefully the website can remain strong, and that the people who engaged with us during this crisis aren't fair weather and they're one moment gone the next. It's certainly one of my fears, but my goal would be to maintain it. And then while we nurse the stores back to health. Beyond that,
as far as events go, it really, we would love to get those going again. And I think we just have to be in mind that like people are still going to be uneasy about being in too close an environment. So we'll probably scale down the size of those and be able to have social distancing in place during those until people are comfortable again, and we have people calling and asking when we're going to do them again. And we're excited to do them.
We're actually hosting a virtual one. We're hosting a virtual planting workshop on Friday. So that's our first. We've sent out kits to 13 people, and we have an employee from our green team who's going to host a virtual one. Though I think in the bigger picture, once we can all go back out and we're not under quarantine anymore, hopefully we can see people face to face. But we are doing a virtual. I'll let you know how it goes. But I think it should be good, though. We're excited.
I think that's great. And I think, there are always going to be, I think, people crave community, and if they can't get it in person, they certainly want it online. So being able to provide that is great, and it's very promising to hear that people are already calling, going, we want that in-person workshop. When's your next one?
I think a message that I would send to a lot of people is like, if you're able to, go to your store and be in your store during the day, and work from there, because when we first closed and we were working out of our online facility, we were shipping everything out. We weren't there to get the customer communication because people were calling the store, calling the stores, asking, can you send me a picture of this one product I saw, because I'd love to come by and pick it up. You can just drop it to me out the door. And so if you can do your work from your store. Like, you'll be there for when people do want to come support you. And I think that's super important.
That's such a great point. And people are curious too. They want to, and even if you do like a little, social media post of, hey, working, at the store today, planning for when we can open again, it just engages people. You take them on your story, on your ride.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we've had a lot of people that have asked us to personal shop for them, especially before Easter. They're like, you guys aren't open. I need to get my kids some Easter presents or whatever. Can you show me what you have available? And we would literally walk around the store on a FaceTime with them and being like, we have this in these sizes or so-and-so, and just let us know and we'll get it bagged up. You can drive by, we'll set it outside and you can grab it. So
yeah, it makes people feel special. And it's such a great way to have them be part, instead of packaging it and saying, here are the different packages we offer, let's put one together that you did. It makes them, it's much more special.
With your gift wrap and your packaging, I think that's another way to stand out. I know you mentioned, Amy, earlier, the issue of like going directly to a brand or purchasing from a store. And I think a way to differentiate yourself is to really offer impeccable customer service with your packaging, offer beautiful gift wrap. There's a few stores that we sell to that are my go-to for gifts. And I actually ordered with them recently for baby gifts, for birthday gifts, just like you're talking about, that personal experience. But I think knowing that, I'm going to get this order and it's going to come beautifully packaged with a handwritten note, and just whatever customer service you can do to incentivize people to order with your store, I think is a great way to go.
I would echo that entirely. And it really, I think it's a great point overall is quality over quantity. And you got to think like, I see a lot of questions about how we got to 100,000 followers or how, more about our social media, which I'm happy to answer some of those. I just don't want to bore everyone who doesn't care. But one thing to remember is that we started from nothing. We started as a shop that shared a shop. We couldn't even afford our own rent or our own SDG&E bills, our utility bills. We shared it as a creative way of getting a store, and eventually we grew to more. But I think just nurturing the people you do have, whether that's one customer or 5 or 100, just putting all that you have into the few that you have, or whatever you have, that is the key to growth and to maintaining and just showing them your passion.
Customer service, no matter if you can't see them in person,
Absolutely.
They're on the phone. And what I've always told every one of our employees, I don't care what the person is buying in our store. If it costs 25 cents or $2,500, they're just as important.
That's right.
They're just as important.
Yeah. 100,000 followers is 12 years in. It's a long time.
I think that sometimes people,
really true.
Absolutely, people invest in people. And then also too, it's not overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And I think sometimes people forget that, you can't just open and expect to have 100,000 followers. It takes 12 years of nurturing and trying. And so really good point. It doesn't happen overnight, but as long as you have the quality and your service is there, people will come back to you. They shop with you because they want to.
Absolutely.
All right. I talked a little bit earlier about New York Now has some great resources. So if you go to the link, newyorknow.com/attendee-resources, and you'll notice also I have the hashtag share support spend. Please use that hashtag. It is about keeping small businesses alive. We're very pro small business. Let's talk a little bit about the future, and then we're going to take some questions. So planning your business future, I know we're still kind of, as we said, figuring out the new landscape of what's going to happen. But with knowing that you have, and all I can say is I'm so grateful this didn't happen in fourth quarter.
God.
So I'm very grateful, right?
Could not agree more.
And quite honestly, with all the changes and this new way, like discovering new ways to do business, it's going to enhance. I know we're going to come out of this stronger and with new ideas and perspective and new ways of doing things. So how are you going to incorporate that in your business future? And Joe, I'm going to ask you to, because you're focusing a lot more, everyone's focusing a lot more on what's happening online on the website and more engagement. What are you seeing for your business in the future?
For me, we are more of a seasonal resort store, so the second and third quarters are really the most important ones. So we're really now at the point where business would start picking up in the store and then reaching a crescendo during July and August. We're lucky to be in a really high-end kind of beach town where there are a lot of second home owners in addition to the people who stay at the inn. So there's really a good maybe 10-month season of business, but we could possibly reach summer and then not have our anywhere near what we normally do. So we're planning for that. I mean, we're expecting that even if we do maybe half of what we normally do, we can still make it. And we're planning on that basis, tweaking our orders and really managing our inventory and managing the timing of them and a lot of things like that. So it's really upon us. It would be almost like say for Chad and Amy to be in their fourth quarter now or approaching it much closer. So we are going to really be in the thick of it and really have to plan quickly and very carefully.
Joe, I was just thinking too, when you said your biggest times are second and third quarter as opposed to third and fourth quarter. This is a great time to start thinking about wish lists. People are in front of their computers, right? They're seeing things they want. Maybe they can put a wish list together for holiday. Just something to think about while people do have a little more time in front of their screens. Alyssa, what are you planning for in your business for the future? And when do you hopefully plan to open up your store?
Yes, so space is actually our showroom. So it's not a traditional storefront. It's in a commercial building, but it's great because it's in a high traffic area and people that are walking by can come on up. So it's more of a shop by appointment type thing, but I'm really excited because my vision for that space is to really be a community-driven space where we have networking events and panels and different workshops and things that are value add for our community and, a fun way to invite our customers to come shop, whether it's a wine and cheese night or even a poetry reading night. We can really get creative with what we can do in the space. Granted, it's not that big, but I think we could comfortably fit about 40 people in there. So I'm just really waiting for things to kind of mellow out in New York. And, it's hard to tell because everyone's just taking things day by day. I'm really hopeful that like by July or August, we can hopefully open the space and have our launch party. And I know once we do, it's going to be a party because we're all going to be so excited to be in person. So I'm kind of just taking it day by day in terms of a timeline for that. And in the meantime, just like everyone else, really focusing on online and leaning on our online community and ways I can get creative with value add content that really keeps them engaged with us, continuing our partnership with City Meals, continuing to fundraise for them, and then also just offering as much support as I possibly can for our retailers. Even offering things like, I'll help you get your website set up, or I'm happy to do like an Instagram workshop with you. Just, I have so much knowledge from doing this for almost 10 years, my business and also my experience with working in retail prior to that. I just have a lot of knowledge and insight with social media and marketing, and just whatever I can do to be helpful right now is kind of the mission. But as of right now, the summer shows are still on. Fingers crossed. I haven't heard anything from Atlanta Gift Show and New York Now. Apparently they're still good to go. So it'll be interesting to see if that changes in the next few months. And I'm just really hopeful that hopefully the shows will be on and stores will reopen and we can really focus on wholesale. But in the meantime, it's all about just getting inventive and adapting and doing what you can do.
And you said something that struck me that, planning ahead and really looking at what it brought up for me was brainstorming. This is a great time to do some brainstorming. What can you do to kind of, what things are you seeing are working for other people? What's working for you? What do you want to implement in, the coming months for the rest of the year? I think this is a great time to really try some things and see how they work. And then you can implement them again. But I really want to encourage everyone to take some time and brainstorm. I know Amy and Chad are really busy and just trying to keep up with the orders, which is a challenge in itself. But I'm sure while you're trying to keep up with the orders, there are also some brainstorms that are happening like, hey, we need a full-time person on doing X, Y, and Z, So I have a feeling a lot of that is coming up while you're working. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely. We've been, even before this, but only more now, we've been evaluating and reevaluating what how we do things, who does what our structure is, and always looking for better ways to become more efficient. And this has certainly been an opportunity for that, to see, especially since we haven't been working in our business. We work all the time toward it, but not usually directly with the customer. Like, we don't work as a sales associate anymore. And right now we're seeing every facet of our business, which is a gift as well. It's draining and exhausting, but it's also, allowed us to see firsthand how we're doing it and whether we should be modifying. It's been great and illuminating in that way.
Looking at, I think that is a hard part to go in and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do all of this. But it really is, you can tighten up your systems and processes. You can really see where there may be some gaps. I think that is so great.
Absolutely.
And great opportunity. I'm taking notes myself on this. That's great.
Every minute of every day, we're looking at how we can do it, what we're doing better, and be more efficient at it. So
wonderful.
And I think another thing we all should is to just kind of focus on what you can do and don't get overwhelmed. Even for stores that don't have an e-commerce platform or don't have a lot of followers, focus on what you can do. And I think starting small, and again, like Amy mentioned, like focusing and loving the followers and the community that you do have, and how can you build on that? And with uploading product to your website, you can start with your top 12 best sellers. Don't feel like you have to upload every single SKU and overwhelm yourself. Start small and then keep uploading from there. But a lot of these platforms are really easy to use. I know we use Shopify and it's super easy to manage. There's even an app for your phone that you can help track SKUs and sales. So there's so many tools that are helpful and tons of resources out there to kind of get things up and running. And, it's quality over quantity for sure.
It's super easy to get overwhelmed. There's a lot to do. And I love that, be really full in what you're doing. Community is such a good reminder. It always helps me to remember that communication is key. You want to be optimistic, especially when it's a challenging environment. You want to make it fun and interesting and educational for your customers. You want to meet up, even if that means virtually now, but eventually you want to meet up in person, right? You want to look at unlikely opportunities. So keep an eye open at, like, what are people doing? What could be possible? This is a time to really test some things. Nurture your customers. Just reach out to them and ask them how they're doing. It's not about the sale as much as it is about, how are you? What can I do for you? I'm here for you. It goes a long way. You want to invite your customers to get to know you better. And how about you get to know them better? So take that into consideration, inviting them in and taking action on things. It's very easy, as Alyssa said, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. Just do one thing. And if you just do one thing a day, it adds up to many, it becomes many things. But in a month, I can't believe a month has gone by since all of this started. And just know that you can make a difference in somebody's life. You may think, oh, well, it's a store, they're buying something. You're providing something that could be very special to them. You're taking care of maybe a gift situation for them, just having interaction with them, but also knowing that when you're making a difference for this customer, that it's also affecting the vendor that you're working with. It's affecting your store. It's this trickle down. So just keep that in mind, that community is so important. And this is just an easy way to remember all of these things. So I want you all to embrace the power of forward thinking. And there were so many amazing ideas and feedback and thoughts from our incredible panelists. I want to thank you all so much. I want to remind you all to stay connected. Make sure that you're following everyone here. We would love to have more comments. There have been a lot of questions. I don't know about you all, but I have gotten so much out of these amazing people and store owners and designers. I wanted to, there was a wonderful suggestion from Nielsen Florist. Let's see if I can find it, that Vivian said that she's going to put a coupon with every sale that they have to have them use for when they do return, and announce the first day that they're back that they'll double the coupon on that day. So that's one thing she's doing. That's a great idea. I do want to encourage people that we're in this kind of interesting time. Don't feel compelled that you have to discount anything. I think it's, it's great if you have some inventory that you know you have to destash and you want to do a quick sale on that. But I think it's really important to stay in the integrity of your brand. And people, there are still a lot of people working. There are still a lot of people who are willing to buy at the regular price. So, you know, just keep that in mind. It's not all about discounting. And I don't want you to go down that path.
Like Amy and myself, since we opened the store, have always been anti-sale and anti-discount. Really, when we first opened, we as Amy mentioned earlier, we shared with another retailer that would always they did mostly clothing. So every month she would get a new supply in and she would discount what was before. And people just started waiting until everything went on sale to purchase. So you're never getting your full margins out of your product that you need to survive as a retailer.
Especially when you're working with smaller vendors, we want to condition people to see value in the work. And it might be a couple dollars more, but if you want small vendors and small artisans, then you have to value them financially and otherwise. And a discounted rate is not sustainable. And I've never wanted, so once a year we have a sale, it's on Black Friday. That's the one day a year. And every year we have people who purchase something the day before that are bummed to see it on sale, which of course we honor the discounted price, you know, but I don't want anyone to be bummed out or disappointed. I feel like it does as much damage as it does good, but we don't like a sale at all. So.
I'm with you guys. I totally agree.
If there's a style that you guys are having a hard time sell, or say you have a lot of stock on something and it's from 2 seasons ago, I feel like there's chances, or there's times when it is appropriate to do sales for situations like that where it's old stock, you need to make room for new. I know a lot of stores we work with will do that very selectively, like flash sale type thing for a limited amount of time. People do appreciate that as well, but that's not the type of customer you want, is someone that's only bargain hunting. But I have seen that done where it's a style from 2 seasons ago and, you know, to pay full price for it 2 years later if they have that stock, or if they just have a lot of something that they want to move. I think there's certain times to do it tastefully without diluting your store or.
What we like to do on that is to mark it down, you know, and so you don't say it's on sale, you change the price, you know, and keep it on your sell floor. So
I really do agree. It has to be taken very carefully. But I do believe in grooming stock, and I am always proud of how customers come into our store, they're always going to see a really fresh inventory. So if something is sitting around for a year or two and we want to get rid of it, we have a special sales section on our website, but we really don't do general sales on regular items, but it's only a selected item kind of thing. And we have customers who pay full price gladly for most of our things, and then occasionally they'll shop for one of the selected sale items as well. And I think the end result is that we end up having a very fresh inventory, especially for our high-end jewelry.
I love all of these thoughts and feedback on this, because I think it, you know, comes down to that we're all working together to really provide an incredible shopping environment and shopping experience. And I feel like each one of you presents such a wonderful shopping experience for your customer, be it now online or also in person. And one thing that keeps coming up, I'm seeing through the questions, is trade shows. Will you all be exhibiting? Will you be going? I will let you know that as soon as it's thumbs up and all is safe, I think trade shows are valuable. I think, especially from a buyer perspective, being able to go to one place and see many different vendors. I hope I'm not alone in my thought, but I'd love to hear our panelists and what they're thinking about shows, certainly when it's okay to have them, you know, proceed, and hopefully everything will be okay come summer. Amy and Chad, are you all planning to move forward with trade shows?
I find trade shows to be hugely important in our business. One of the most important reasons is creating a connection with the vendors and having a face-to-face with them and knowing who each other is on a personal level, I think is one of the most valuable things you gain out of it.
We're seeing the benefit of that in this moment. we're relying on relationships we have that are 10 years strong with vendors, or even a couple years strong, but people we met and know over years of seeing one another, who are doing us the favor of a drop ship when they don't normally do it, or just like any relationship.
Or extending longer terms.
Or longer terms on our bills. I saw a question about how many orders have we refused, how many have we sent back, and obviously our partners know that we're, that we have a brand and that we have a history of being a good partner, and we're canceling some orders and asking for their forgiveness and asking for an extension on our bills in other places. And all of that is contingent on the relationship. Yeah.
And we will be going to trade shows once it's safe to go again. They're super important to our industry.
Just to see things in person.
Yeah.
Ordering things sight unseen is a challenge.
You always get burned with something at some point. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with Chad and Amy. I mean, I've been going to shows now for almost 40 years, and I couldn't live without them, actually. I feel that the face-to-face relationship with sort of vendors, seeing new product, being able to touch it and feel it, and there is no substitute for that. And I hope that New York Now will take place in August, and thereafter, I certainly would plan to be there if it is going forward as scheduled.
Wonderful. And Alyssa, will we see you at New York Now too?
Yes. Well, as of now, we were planning to do all 4 this summer. So we were going to do Accessories the Show, which obviously now the May one is canceled. We're signed up for the July gift show, New York Now, and then we were actually thinking of doing Vegas this time for the first year. But now we're kind of TBD based on everything going on. But like I mentioned, I haven't heard anything back from Atlanta or from New York Now. As of now, all the shows are still happening. So I feel like it'll just be, we'll probably find out in June whether, what's going on. But we're planning to exhibit, so hopefully we'll see you guys there. We'd love to meet you all in person.
Well, you all have been a dream panel. Thank you so much for being part of the very first live webinar. Super exciting. Thank you for your time and for your input and insight, and for really embracing what's happening now and adapting and pivoting to what you need to do. Be safe, stay well, and thank you all so much. Stay well, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the New York Now podcast. Make sure to tune in weekly for engaging and insightful conversations touching on the most relevant topics facing our community today. Visit NewYorkNow.com to learn more about our market and how you can join in on the conversation.